into this 2019 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament Week 2 Swiss round matchup. We have a matchup between TheAlanHeffley and Basp33. So we are going to be starting this in just a moment. I am Vonnie. I will be one of your co-commentators tonight, along with the ever-wonderful Sparkover, who is about to say hello.
Hi. We're going to have a fun time tonight.
We sure are, and we're going to check in with the runners here in IRC to see how they're doing, and we will let you know when we are getting started here.
So I'm just going to look at some of our stats right now. We've got 11 strength, 6 agility, that's in the red, but look at that, 31 HP, and then 10 MP, but no spells yet. But we will see what we're dealing with when we get there. Both of the runners are using the Big Z, which means we will be getting the strength and HP boosts, as you can see on the tracker. So it looks like our racers are ready to go. They are being counted down by the race bot, and in 10 seconds, plus stream delay, we will be starting.
Alrighty, we officially have a go here in SRL, and we are going to get these up and running very soon. Yeah, that start of 31 hit points is going to be fantastic, especially because 11 strength isn't a huge number, so they're probably going to need that extra HP to trade blows with things like Drakies, Magicians, and Scorpions in the early going. So that's definitely going to be good for them. All right, and we're going to see what we have here in the treasury. We've got gold. We've got 2 magic keys and gold. So this is a really spicy start to the seed, because what's going to allow them to do is and let's see, we see Basp first. Basp is going to go and save. Okay, that's actually not a bad idea. But then what I imagine would happen next is they are going to go and open the door on the north side of the castle, use that gold that they just acquired to buy more keys. Oh, maybe not. Maybe we're going to go down and we're going to start a grind right away.
Yeah, we have the difference of that you have the 3 extra chests that were technically counted as reopened because you re-entered the starting thing. We actually do have some treasure chests ready for a gold grind, and there is money there, and there is a cursed belt grind. I don't think we're good. We are going to be seeing. We are grinding for the cursed belts, folks. I cannot make this story up. This is beautiful.
But we also see that bottom right chest is a gold chest, meaning that if they would like to grind this to get as much gold as they would like to purchase things such as silver shields, flame swords, magic armors, when they do come across those things, then they will have that at their disposal right away. So looks like Bass was content to get about 6,000 or so gold, and is now moving on to see what is in the basement of Tantegel Castle, and we shall all see this momentarily.
And I was told in chat that it was actually keys and not belts. Curse you, gold grind. So it looks like we have either the tablet cave or the mountain cave here. I want to assume tablet cave, but yeah, that's what those shimmies look like to me.
Yeah, it looks like if it was mountain cave, you would see them going north. So tablet cave is going to be a dark dungeon that has no monsters and only 1 treasure chest in it. So the nice thing is you can't die in it. The bad thing is that you can't die in it, especially if you get lost. So if you are bumping around and you get stuck and you can't find where you are, it can be an enormous waste of time. So hopefully Basp is able to negotiate. Oh, and looks like they did. And they got a bamboo pole for their troubles. That is not actually a bamboo pole, folks. It looks like that is going to be whether they're going to check. And it actually looks like they're torches. They're torches. So we're going to go ahead and use that.
Out.
Yeah, to get out, exactly.
All right, so we've got some firepower, you know, of the sort of more literal sense here. And we definitely have a money source and a key source. So, you know, the world is going to be pretty wide open to start out. But speaking of the world, well, I think very soon we're actually going to be able to see what's out there. So I'm very impressed here. Both runners here going through the tablet cave in the dark. Very, very good skills. Even with a map, it can be a little bit scary just because there are no monsters there just in case you go the wrong way.
So we have Dwight here in chat asking, how did the race open? It opened with gold and 2 magic keys in the opening treasury. In the throne room. In the treasury, we have magic keys and we have a gold chest on the bottom right-hand side. So we are going to go and see. Basp first is going to replenish that key, and then is just going to stick as much gold as he would like into his pockets so that he can be in good shape for purchasing whatever he would like.
Yeah, so if there's a nearby town, you know, there will be some large purchases to be made. Unfortunately for TheAlanHeffley, he opened the gold chest sooner, so was not able to gold grind that, but the knowledge is still there.
Knowledge is power, Sparko. So it looks like Basp is content to get just enough gold to purchase the flame sword and the magic armor. The 3 best pieces of equipment that you can buy in each category are the flame shield, magic armor, and silver shield. Silver shield by far being the most expensive of those 3, where you need 14,800 gold. So that's quite a bit to grind up to that. We see here our first enemy we fight is a Draki that has sleep. That's not fun.
Yeah, so we've got swamp to the north and some forest down to the south. And despite having all of this money, Basp is actually just choosing to stay here and grind. So we'll see what comes out of this. It is a little bit intimidating to, you know, scour the world at level 1. So unless you find something right away, or perhaps find that you have no enemies that you really want to fight right off the bat, you know, it might just be an okay choice to stick around and see if you can get a few kills in.
Yeah, but of note is the fact that they have 31 hit points. So there's a small swamp directly to the north of the castle. Taking the damage to get through that isn't going to be too bad for either of these runners here. So that's something that they might want to do sooner rather than later. But we are going to get our first level up here. We're going to get 2 power, 7 agility, 12 hit points, and 1 magic point. So boy, even more hit points to pile on here in the very beginning. That is going to make things definitely easier when it comes to perhaps engaging some of the higher level enemies, you know, scorpions, magic drakis, things like this. So hopefully that will help the grind go even more smoothly. Meanwhile, we see TheAlanHeffley is still bonking around here in the tablet cave. This is the danger of going through it. If you're not completely comfortable with how the layout is, you can end up wasting quite a bit of time. And again, there is no, if you don't have outside, there's no enemies in here that are going to kill you. If you need to, finally using the torch, and hopefully this will help them get through here. Ooh, running into a poltergeist that also has sleep. That's not fun.
Yeah, so nice little spells on the, you know, on the little enemies here. Basp seems to be trying to make a little bit of a run for it, but there seems to be surrounding swamp, and now after getting the health in the red, unfortunately takes a death. So we are up to 50 HP now, so that is going to help a little bit more with the exploration.
But that's not going to help with all of the gold that he grinded up. So if he was looking to turn that in immediately into a town that would hopefully have, some equipment in it, that's not happening now.
Yeah, and it's always a bit of a risk. You never know if you want to do a gold grind right off the bat when you're level 1, just because you don't exactly know, how far the closest town is. It is nice to have the option, though. However, it looks like we are now committed to punching some things. So TheAlanHeffley going back and forth, just looking for the first kill. We do know there are slimes and drakies in the area. Little tricky to find there right now, getting some magicians in the way, but there is a drakey for TheAlanHeffley. They do have sleep, so it can be a little bit dangerous, but... Oh, unfortunately, the sleep... Oh, and there is also some hurt more.
Oh, the wombo combo with drakies. That is going to make an early grind a bit trickier in that you are definitely going to want to avoid those drakies unless you can one-shot them, at which point they're probably not going to be very much worth grinding on in the first place. So that just removes one option, which we see a reset here on TheAlanHeffley's side. Wonder what that was about. Did they grind up for any gold? Why they decided to do that? Interesting choice.
I think they just have their starting things here. So yeah, they did reset, but however, over on Basp's side, we've gotten to level 4 and we actually have learned Hurt more. So it's going to be going a little bit fast over here on this side. Most of the enemies in the game will fall to just one shot of Hurt more here. So, and look at that.
Oh,
you see that bridge?
A Sparko bridge to a swamp tile. Does that not make your heart flutter?
I might just cry some tears of joy right now. So Basp is sent back home after a back attack of the werewolf, but the MP will be refilled, and only 15 MP, but that is 3 casts of Herb more, and in the early game that can really help a lot.
So interesting that we saw Basp take the time to grind up to about 17,000 gold, has now suffered 2 deaths and might be suffering a third here if he's not careful with this Armored Knight. Oh, and that's exactly what happens. Breathing Dragon Lord Fire doing well more damage than he has available. So that's a 3rd death now. So all that gold that he took the time to grind up is now essentially gone. So that was kind of a curious decision to build all of that up, just kind of in the just cross your finger hopes that he would find a town to spend it in. So let's see if that time sink comes back to bite him at all. Although in the early goings, it does not seem like that's going to be the case.
Yeah, and when you do get hurt more right away, it is also very easy to make your money back in return. Not quite as fast as the gold grind, but it's still easy to, keep it pretty steady for the early game. And of course, both runners do have the knowledge that the gold grind is available, so in the future, it wouldn't surprise me if we did see it again.
Alrighty, another level up here. 4 power, 4 agility, 10 hit points, 2 magic, and a spell is Radiant. Wow, just all of the hit points in this sea. There, level 5, he's got 72 HP. That is an enormous amount for this early going. Another level up, 22 power. That's just what the doctor ordered. That was a little bit lacking in the early going, but that boost is going to be rather welcome for these runners.
Yeah, you can see the experience coming in very quickly, and that is the direct result of learning Hurt more. TheAlanHeffley, unfortunately, is having a little bit of trouble getting out of the beginning, but just needs one more kill to get to level 2, and that's when the little power boost and some more stats will do it. Alan looking longingly at that Sparkover tile, but decides, no, I have a serious race to commit to.
Yeah, he's I think he probably knows he's got to scramble to get some things going here, so that Sparkover bridge will just have to wait.
Yeah, I have a feeling that maybe he's getting a little bit anxious, just having trouble not being able to find the kills that he wants, because now at level 1, he's just venturing off into the distance. But unfortunately, the back attack of a werewolf will send him back home. Meanwhile,
yet
we have
another
Courage and
level
Wit.
here. Another level here for Basp. Oh my goodness. 9 power, 12 agility, 24 more HP. This is insane. I mean, he's approaching Dragon Lord safe levels of HP, and he's at level 7.
Gosh, yeah, 97 HP, that's quite a bit. And yet, no way of healing themselves. I don't even believe they found an herb in the treasury at all. So yeah, with all this swamp, it's, still very tricky to get to many places.
There was an herb, I believe, in the treasury. I think it was the middle treasure chest. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, it was I think it was the bottom left treasure chest.
Okay, but there was one, and it probably will not last you too long in this situation.
Correct.
So we actually now are able to survive a hit of Dragon Lord Breath thanks to all of this HP, and with that, Basp is able to take down the Armored Knight, and that is, a very rewarding feeling to be able to take on Dragon Lord Breath at level 7.
And that is a raw hit. That is with 0 armor on. So that's pretty remarkable that at level 7, they can survive Dragon Lord Breath.
Though unfortunately, with all the swamp sort of surrounding them, even in small little spurts is not going to help when you have no way of healing yourself anymore, as I am told from chat that Basp accidentally used his herb diving for the torch. So yeah, it's still going to be a bit of a rocky road out there.
Alright, it looks like Basp is finally making some hay when it comes to exploring north. Meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley is just really struggling to get that 1 kill he needs just to get to level 2. Meanwhile, Basp is at level 7, so this is a gap that if this gets too wide too quickly, then it could really, really get out of hand, unfortunately.
Hey, Vani, did you see what I just saw?
Which was?
Right up top.
Was that...
Big C.
Alrighty.
The top of Basp's screen, I saw the big C.
The
anyway,
big C. Kind of a piddly level there at level 7 level 8, pardon me, for Basp. But still, with everything that he has in his arsenal right now, that's not such a big deal. But yes, so the big C is what we lovingly refer to as Charlock, because those blocks that surround all sides of it, with the exception of the east, do kind of form a C. So we know where Charlock is. That's nice. We'd like to find some other stuff, like maybe a town. I don't know. Let's see if we can buy some gear or something. Maybe search coal for Erdrick's armor, an Erdrick's token, something like that,
Anything that could help us, advance the plot.
Because, getting every HP in the game is nice, but another Sparko bridge. This one onto a sand tile. So delightful.
Sparko Beach. All right, so we've got a red slime over on the TheAlanHeffley's side, and is taken out in 1 hit. TheAlanHeffley does make it to level 2.
Alrighty. Hopefully that will kickstart something for TheAlanHeffley when it comes to really getting things going here.
So I see on Basp's side.
We have a town.
What do you think it is?
I'm gonna say it's Breckenary.
All right, I'll say, how about Garenham? Let's have fun. Let's see what it is. But first, we must pause for the werewolf, and it's Rimildar. So usually it's a little more exciting when you find it for the first time because you can get keys, but we already have them. So what can we find in this town?
Well, there is a flame sword here in the at the weapon shop. Gonna go ahead and buy the large shield, and that doesn't surprise me that he's gonna settle for that, considering that we did not see him grind up enough gold to get the silver shield should he have encountered it. And we have found the fairy flute in the treasure chest in Rimildar. Interesting. So that's going to take away something that would be at normally one of the search spots. So that's going to increase the likelihood that we're going to have the Erdrick's armor and Erdrick's token there, especially the armor, because that can be in a treasure chest. But it also means that we might have somewhere that's blank between Hawksness Coal and the search spot. Oh, we have another cave and another town here. This is quite the bonanza of places that Basp has stumbled upon.
Bonanza, very well used word. So yes, we are going to be finally advancing the plot a little bit here, hopefully seeing something else, and then some more wolf lords. So the wolf lord does have sleep, but with the hurt more spell, you are able to just take them out in one shot, guaranteed. And let's see, what do we have? Kentlin.
Yes.
All right,
so
Johnny,
this
what
is
can you find?
So this is interesting for a couple reasons. First of all, we're going to have a couple of different weapon shops that we can get some more equipment at here, or at least know what's available. But then also, especially with keys, we are going to be able to open up the door to the south so that we can talk to the gentleman who's going to give us coordinates. However, they do not have any curing magic. So you see Basp going immediately to this item shop and is going to stock up on herbs, which he's going to need to survive those nasty tiles that are in between the door and the old man. Also buying a dragon scale for swag and also for 2 defense. And I imagine that he is going to don it and then find out where the coordinates are at.
Yeah, thankfully with all the HP, at least it won't be too bad to walk down there, though it is always kind of brutal going there when you only have herbs to heal yourself, because they only take you, well, 2 steps if you're lucky. But let's see, will this man walk over here and tell us? Yes, let us wish the warrior well. We may search. 13 to the north and 62 to the east.
Alrighty, we have not gone east in this seed very much at all, so this is going to be interesting to see. Well, we also haven't discovered the swamp cave yet, so we're really just tucking away this knowledge for later, but always good to get it when you can, so that whenever you are ready to retrieve this search item, you are able to do so. Now, the gold that, as you mentioned, Sparko, the gold that Basp has accumulated from all of the fighting that they've been able to do by just roasting things with Hurtmore has given him the opportunity to buy all of these herbs, the large shield that he stumbled across and whatnot. So it's put him in pretty good shape for the short term as far as buying things and making progress. And he can even stay at the most expensive inn in the game. So how about that?
So very fancy. Though I'm kind of curious, Breckenridge, it's about the same size, possibly even larger than the Cantlin Inn. But my theory is that Breckenridge actually might be a group hostel. For the cheap rate, you're probably sharing a couple bunk beds with a few other heroes. That's my theory on that.
It's more like an Airbnb kind of deal.
Yeah, shared room. You got a couple noisy people down the hallway.
Alrighty, so we do see another town there just to the west of Cantlin, but unfortunately it looks like we can't access it right from where Basp is, so that will have to wait. We'll have to walk around or whatnot. But we do have a cave here. We have 2 caves here. We'll look in this one. It is dark.
Is it mountain?
However, we have Radiant, and we have discovered the mountain cave. Yes.
I like playing the Witch Cave Visit game. So while we're just waiting to get to the first chest in here, we have a question about the level 2 versus level 8. So pretty much to summarize what happened there, Basp had just had a little bit more luck with getting some levels out of the way, and then was able to get the Hurtmore spell, which pretty much propels you forward immediately. It makes a big difference to get it early on in the game. So that's the large experience lead that we are focusing here. Meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley has not quite had the same amount of luck, unfortunately, and is still at level 2 at the moment. But what level was that? Around level 4 or 5, I believe we saw Hurtmore?
I believe it was level 4, yes. Speaking of levels, Basp has gotten to level 9. Of note in this level was getting 25 MP, as well as learning the heal spell. So they finally have a way to use MP in order to heal. and we find the Stones of Sunlight on the first floor of the mountain cave. That is a progression item. We're going to need the Stones of Sunlight, the Staff of Rain, and Erdrick's token in order to form the Rainbow Drop, which will grant us access into Charlotte Castle.
But however, to get the Staff of Rain, you need to find the Silver Harp and then find the old man where you will be exchanging that harp. And then you must exchange the 3 of those items at another man who we very lovingly call the Jerk. Wait, lovingly? So
Ooh,
in the next chest we find... Yes. And
Speaking
there's that
of the
silver harp we were talking about.
There it is, yes.
It's like we're thinking the same thing.
It's like we're watching the same thing, Sparko.
Wow. So, Vani, do you know why the Jerk is called the Jerk?
I do, because if you go to him and you don't have the things that he wants, he kicks you out very unceremoniously. So that's kind of jerky. So he's earned the title.
Very rude. Yeah, it was someone named Sparkover or someone like that that sort of came up with that on their first playthrough of the game, and it sort of just stuck in the community. Gosh, how about that?
Imagine Sparko memes getting stuck in the Dragon Warrior community.
I don't even know how. So we're nearing onto the last chest over here. We're out of MP, but looks like we're going to make it to the chest, and it is some gold. So I think we're going to be walking out and just trying to see what else is around.
There was that second cave there, so I'm guessing that Basp is really, really hoping they don't take a death here so that they don't have to hike all the way back to check what it is.
Oh, so we have a little bit of a fun thing happening over here on the TheAlanHeffley side, which could give a very good help. We've got a metal slime and less than 18 strength, so the metal slime is actually guaranteed to not run. So as long as it doesn't have any tricks up its sleeve, TheAlanHeffley is going to be getting a very, well-wanted experience boost. And even to finish it off nicely, we've got an excellent move for 16 on the metal slime, and all of a sudden the TheAlanHeffley is propelled forward. I want to say probably to level 7, I'm guessing. But let's find out. Level 6, all right. Very close. And now has hurt more.
That is exactly what the doctor ordered for the TheAlanHeffley. There's still you see there's still a gap of over 1,000 experience between the two. That can't be ignored, but at least TheAlanHeffley has some tools in his toolbox now that he can do some exploration and start to finally get going here. But just as we say this, there is a metal slime kill over on Basp's side, which is going to net him a level up as well. Anything noteworthy here? New spell. It is outside. Okay, so that would have been really helpful before when he was in that mountain cave where he did indeed die to that Magiwyvern. So he is going to have to walk all the way back to see what that other cave was.
And look at that, our HP is in the green. We've got 106 HP at level 10. I wonder if we might have any use for this death necklace that we've picked up.
I would say so, but at level 10, they're already at 64 strength, so I'm not sure. I mean, if they get some more decent strength level up, they're certainly going to have to continue to level up. They only have 54 agility, and of course only 59 MP. That's the other important part. So there's still going to be plenty more levels up. So that strength number is only going to grow. But yes, the death necklace absolutely could come into play, especially if they get a lot more of these big MP gains.
Yeah, I don't know. From somebody who finished their seed with 66 agility, that's a lot, right? Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But yeah, we definitely, it's nice to be covered in some stats like that, some larger HP stats, especially when you're, when you don't really quite have heal more yet. There's no fast way to heal yourself up, but at least, it'll take the enemies a little bit of time to chip down at you. So yeah, despite the fact that TheAlanHeffley's metal slime was sort of counteracted by Basp's as well, the fact that Alan has now gotten hurt more is going to help quite a bit. Even if there's still going to be some setbacks with exploration, there's going to be a lot more experience gain and money gain and finally being able to get out into the world, and that's going to be a big relief on his part.
Now we do see AlanHeffley going east, which is something that Basp did not do. So who knows? Maybe they discover coal with Erdrick's armor on the floor. Maybe the freebie cave has the Erdrick sword or something like that that can swing this a little bit into Alan's favor. Getting killed by an armored knight is not going to swing it in his favor, though, however. We do see that Basp has discovered that other town that we couldn't get to before, and it is Hawksness. Now, with his arsenal, all the HP as well as a couple Hurtmores, he could very well just go and get whatever's here. Let's see if he ventures over to that tile to give it a shot. I don't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah, there's, a few enemies that he could definitely take out at this point. I don't think physical attacking things that aren't going to take the Hurtmores very well are going to be successful. But if you can get, say, 2 Hurtmores on like a blue dragon, an armored knight, heck, if you find an axe knight, you're sitting pretty.
All right, we are just a couple of steps away from finding out what we've got. Gonna use an herb to heal up. I think that's pretty smart. And we've got ourselves an armored knight. We're just gonna throw out 2 Hurtmores, hope that neither of them miss. First one connects. We're just gonna take that Dragon Lord fire to the face. The second one also connects. So we are gonna see what we have here in Hawksness. It is Erdrick's armor. Excellent find there for Basp.
Yeah, so Erdrick's armor is exceedingly powerful armor. I mean, also going from, no armor at all to quite a big defense boost, that's going to help a lot. In addition, healing 1 MP every single step, stop spell resistance, further, magical resistance against Hurtmore and Hurt. And what's a protection against Dragonlord Breath? Many good things. Oh, and as well, hey, guess those swamp damage tiles. I don't think they will be affecting you anymore at this point. So that's some very powerful stuff we'll be finding now. And as well, we get to the next level with, I think I saw 0 attack power, 5 speed, 7 and 12, I believe I saw, but those did go by pretty fast.
Yep, that's what I saw too. 0, 5, 7, and 2 as well. And boy, I mean, with that Erdrick's armor, that's going to make exploration even easier. That's going to make the need to heal even less. This is a commanding early lead for Basp now in the situation where he finds himself. I mean, and AlanHeffley has made it all the way up to level 8. So, I mean, this where Basp was not too long ago and can go out and actually do some exploration. They need you to get out and do it. I haven't seen AlanHeffley really get too far away from the castle in any of his in any of his travels out of there. So he's got to get that going in a hurry. Otherwise, this could really get away from him.
And yeah, just to recap in chat real quick here, what happened in the beginning of the game, we had a tablet cave in the bottom of Tantagel, and we had keys to access it right away. And unfortunately, the AlanHeffley got caught up in the cave for a little bit until you realized that he had some torches. But after that, Basp was able to get out and get some pretty decent fights in to be able to get to Hurtmore pretty early on, whereas the AlanHeffley, unfortunately, fell back a little bit with that. Did get a metal slime to sort of be able to catch up and get the Hurtmore, but at the same time, Basp was also able to get a metal slime just right after that. But looking here, AlanHeffley has picked up level 9 and has gotten the heal spell, I believe is new to that, yes.
We also see that Basp has discovered the other cave. There is the grave. So another 5 treasure chests to gain here. Healed up right outside the cave here at Cantlin. So he's definitely going to take the dive down here to see what he can find. Also, shout outs to our tracker here who has updated with the coordinates. We know now that with finding the fairy flute as well as Erdrick's armor already, we know, oh, there's Erdrick's sword, the very first treasure chest they open. Oh boy. Basp is in great shape. Wow, just casting outside as soon as he gets it. He knows what I was just about to say is that search spot has Erdrick's token. He's already got the Stones of Sunlight. He's already got the Silver Harp. He's already got the Death Necklace. There's really nothing else that he needs to go, save for maybe the Fighter's Ring. There's really nothing else for him to gain in that cave. So he's just going to go ahead and zip right out of there. And he is, at this point, he is looking for the swamp so that he can rescue Gwalen and find his way to that Erdrick's token. I'd also like to find the turn-in spots as well. So just caves that we're looking for on Basp's side at this point. That's all.
Yeah, the exploration is definitely, well, the real thing to be doing right now. The fighter's ring can be useful in some situations, but I feel like with all of the information we have right now, the important thing to do is find out, who is or rather where our turn-in spots are. And on the TheAlanHeffley side, actually, we have found the Swamp Cave North. Let's see either where it leads, who lives in there. Looks like we're going to go out the other side.
Ah, now this is interesting because this is something that Basp is definitely going to want to find. So there was a divergence there in the... Oh, it looks like they have come out on the other side of the continent, run into a Star Wyvern here. So let's see if maybe there's something to be found here that could make things interesting on the TheAlanHeffley's side.
Is able to take out the Star Wyvern with one Herdmore and a punch. However, there is no MP left, so without being able to heal, I'm not sure how far the TheAlanHeffley is going to be able to make it. And we are being asked, who are the sprites? I believe we have, I do not remember her name. The blue and green one is, I believe, the hero's friend in Dragon Warrior 4, and I believe we've got the female goof-off on the TheAlanHeffley's side. Celia, thank you for the name. I am sometimes rusty with those, but that is all right. So we're just searching around now. Basp looking for, of course, our the turn-in spots and the swamp cave, and then TheAlanHeffley on the other side, needing to find pretty much all of the key items at this point, but we know they're not too far. And once you're able to find some towns, get some healing ability, it is not too hard to sort of get your ball rolling and hopefully get out there and find the items you need.
Alrighty, speaking of key items, I'm going to go ahead and recap what we've found, because we've found pretty much everything so far. So for those of you that might be joining us late, let's break down what was where. We found the fairy flute that was in Rimmeldar. The mountain cave gave us not only the stones of sunlight and the silver heart, but also the death necklace. Hoxton's search spot was Erdrick's armor, and the grave had Erdrick's sword right on the top floor. The token is going to be at the search spot on the overworld, but we have unfortunately not found either of the turn-in spots or the swamp, or at least, I'm sorry, Basp hasn't discovered the swamp cave. TheAlanHeffley has, so we do not have anyone that has picked up the token yet.
And I'm kind of just trying to take a peek at the map and figure out, roughly where we're going to be finding this, and how twisty and turny a path is going to be. One of the newer features of the latest release of the Randomizer is what was called rivers, which essentially means map generation. There are a lot more, rivers sort of, separating the land, a lot more lakes, and well, a feature that I like. What do you need to cross the water?
You need a bridge.
I like those. They're very pretty.
Another 8 attack power here for Basp. So getting closer to viable Dragon Lord fighting territory. A death necklace use here, not advised at this level of HP, only going to give him to 122 attack power. So we're going to need to see at least, especially with only 64 MP, we're going to see at least a couple more level ups on Basp's side. Oh, but he's found a town and a cave. The town cave combo. The town is Brecconary, so that's a nice, cheap stay, which it looks like he's going to take advantage of right away. And that cave, I believe, has to be one of those 3 spots that he's looking for. We've already found the tablet cave. We found the swamp. I'm sorry, we found the grave. We found the mountain. We know that Alan has found the spot, so this has to be a turn-in spot.
And can you just look at that cute little island there? It's like, it looks like a Sparkover bridge. I know there's some extra land on there, but the cave is right there, and we have found the jerk. Can't do any business with you right now, sir, but we'll be talking to you later.
Basp taking a few seconds to make a note of where that is, because that is extremely crucial for his progress.
And we'll be continuing on. So I'm just trying to recount how many caves we haven't seen, because we know that one of them is going to be in the back of Garanham, and that's either, I think, going to be either the Stones of Sunlight cave or the Shrine cave where the silver harp is exchanged. Am I correct?
Yep, those are the only 2 we haven't seen yet. But we have another town.
And I think that has to be Garanham?
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. So we're gonna see. It is going to be something interesting. I'll bet you if it's the bonus cave or the freebie cave, Basp will probably take one look at it and just take the. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's Cole. We haven't seen Cole yet.
Oh, you're right. I got so excited because we had seen both the armor and know where the token is in the flute that I sort of forgot that Cole actually exists. Sorry, Cole, but we don't need you right now.
And again, with the knowledge that Basp has already been given coordinates and has located both Erdrick's armor and fairy flute, no point in even searching the spot in Cole because we know it's going to be empty. And so does he.
And that's just, sort of part of the keeping good track of what you're doing. And, just, even if it's just a few seconds that it would take to, search the spot, it can save you time, and that's very good to remember off the top of your head.
Yeah, I've actually been impressed with a lot of things that Basp has been doing. Finding that Erdrick sword in the first cave of Swamp Cave and just going right out. Because if he would have dove that whole thing, that takes multiple minutes to get all 5 chests. So he saved that there. Walking into Cole, walking right out, that saved him several seconds there as well. So all these little efficiencies definitely add up, and it's really going to serve Basp well here to just continue to keep TheAlanHeffley at arm's length so that he can have control of this race.
Well, I mean, I have to be fair here. Basp has both a length of an arm and an Erdrick sword, so that's a bit of an advantage, I'll say.
Your point is well taken, Sparko.
My point, you say?
You see what I did there, huh?
I appreciate you.
Oh, I
shout
appreciate
outs to
you
Vonnie
too,
for
Sparko.
doing commentary tonight with me, and shout outs to the Amused Miniature and the Hangry Canuck for helping with both the restreaming and with the tracking.
Indeed.
And as well, shout outs to our lovely runners as well, putting on the show for us. This is week 2 of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer 2019 tournament, and right now we are doing 5 Swiss rounds, which has been quite the busy schedule. We've got 32 matches a week, but the community has been working very hard to get the races restreamed, and it's been a lot of fun. And on the TheAlanHeffley side, we have found Garanham. Let's see what's inside.
Ah, we sure have. All right, so a couple of things that TheAlanHeffley has found that Basp has not. Both Garanham and the Swamp Cave. Actually, no, I take that back. As I say that, we see Basp walking into the north end of Swamp Cave. Not going to get Gwaelin, though. That's pretty much the whole point of why he needed to find this. That is interesting.
So on the TheAlanHeffley side, we are purchasing a club and, I assume, a small shield? Yes. And as I was watching that, I actually did miss what happened over on Basp's side. I see that we didn't rescue the princess. Did we have a very bad enemy to fight?
He didn't even check it. He just went to the south part and came out on the second continent.
Ah, we're seeing what's on the other side. Well, we've got an armored knight on the other side, and question mark. Maybe Basp would like to look around for Garanham and possibly the Silver Harp Cave before we get over there. So let's see. We do take a look in the treasure chest in the back of Garanham. We get some gold. We unfortunately get a little bit of lag, and I missed that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either, unfortunately.
All right, so we got some gold and some mystery items. It's a fun excitement. We do know which key items they are not. We just have potential for the fighter's ring. However, TheAlanHeffley is not going to the back, which I'm kind of curious about, unless you're just going to purchase something.
Yeah, that is strange. Okay, it looks like he is going out to buy some things. Maybe not. He told him, please come again. Please. Oh no, walking is at the. Okay, he's going to the item shop, so still not leaving yet.
I want to think the broadsword was in mind, and Alan is probably going to try and sell enough things to get that 1,500 gold.
Meanwhile, I think Basp has seen enough of the second continent and will now be venturing forth to rescue the beloved.
But first, if we are in the spot, we have a blue dragon. So we are trying to run, so I'm not sure if we were there. And as we have confirmed, I believe... Oh no, we hadn't confirmed that for sure, but we did find the shrine inside Garanham.
That is definitely something that Basp would like to find sooner rather than later. One thing that I wanted to kind of break down here, like Sparkover mentioned, this is week 2 of the Swiss round of the tournament. This is a matchup of runners who were not victorious in their first matchup. So this is an 0-1 matchup. In week 1, Basp went up against Ferron Burgundy and lost by a margin of just over 5 minutes. So that was a pretty good race. Meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley lost to Empty Eye. We don't have a margin there because Empty Eye finished with a time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 35 seconds, and TheAlanHeffley forfeited. So can't really say what happened there. But the winner of this is going to go to 1-1 and will put themselves in decent position to continue with making it to the playoffs, whereas the one who is not victorious will drop to 0-2 and then will be up against the ropes when it comes to needing to win out in order to make that tournament. Meanwhile, as I was yakking away there, Basp has found Garanham and is going to be very delighted to find the turn-in spot for the Silver Harp in just a few moments.
But first, the items we didn't see. Wings and wings. So we do have a question in chat about character names versus stat growth. So yes, your name can affect 2 of the stats that you get a bonus to. Strength HP is probably the most popular one now, and Big Z is one of those names. Little D is another of those names, and Strength Agility would be the next popular one. Some people will use alternate names for that, but of course, right now we have the 2 players both using the same name, so we will have the bonus to the same stats. And I believe we have Basp counting right here. We have some very slow and particular steps. So maybe we're not going to see a princess rescue after all. Which is
really perplexing because he was just in the swamp cave. He had just healed up. We know he's well equipped to kill whatever is on that spike tile. So the fact that he is now going to take, and he's got so the search spot is 13 north, 62 to the east. So he's going to have to go around quite a few things here. I wonder if this is really the most efficient way of doing this. Basp may prove us wrong, but with having to go 62 east, and we see, looks like there's a split coming up here on the right-hand side, this could prove to be a little more than he signed up for. Oh, goodness. How is he? Oh, wow. Okay, so he's got a bridge there. This is going to be interesting, folks. Let's see if he actually pulls this off. If he does, it'll be really impressive.
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely going to be very twisty and turny way to go. But some people are very comfortable with counting. Personally, I don't understand that because that's not quite my biggest skill. But some people are just very impressive with how they can just go all the way around the map, you know, up and down and around and across 5 different bridges and know where they are. So, you know, let's keep track here. We've probably got, you know, we're definitely past the 13 North, I want to say by now. But how far east do we have to go? Yeah, looks like we have to go up north again. A lot of twisting and turning over here, and are we even going to make it? We do. There is a bridge. So we can keep going for now.
Alrighty, TheAlanHeffley back into the swamp cave, going to the second continent. Maybe looking just to find things. Okay, it looks like Basp has given up on this endeavor and is going to head for the swamp cave to get what we affectionately refer to as the GPS, which is what the gift that you get from rescuing the princess. It is an item called Gwaelin's Love, and what it is an item you can carry, and you can use it at any time. Gwaelin will tell you how far away you are from the castle, which is going to help you kind of reverse engineer which tile you need to be on in order to get your search spot item. Alright, so a blue dragon stands between him and the princess, and we are just going to fight and hope that the blue dragon doesn't have anything nasty. If all they're going to do is hit by having, so much HP and being able to hit it as hard as we are, then this really shouldn't be an issue, especially just casting a heal more. Getting back up to that max HP, it should just be one more hit here, and it is.
Yeah, looks like no nasty surprises. And to be fair, when you have sword, armor, and heal more, you really don't need to be worrying about very much of anything, except for maybe the surprise sleep and, you know, either Herb more or Dragonlord breath. But anyway, Princess Gwaelin embraces thee, and they're going to be making a trip back home so we can get Gwaelin's love and then find the easy way to get to the token. So I actually see the TheAlanHeffley making a very similar looking walk. We're in just about the same area where we found the swamp cave before. I wonder if the TheAlanHeffley has been further east to find what's on the further side of there. Because I believe that's where we saw the jerk is where we found, but we might be headed to the swamp cave as well. So Gwaelin, of course, taking a torch to remember the hero. I mean, that's pretty much the ultimate gift that you can give to anybody. Thy torch. That's you know what princesses want. You know, for those times when they're kidnapped by the dragons and put in the dark hallway.
It burns with their eternal love, Sparko.
Bah. So unfortunately, that Sparkover bridge right beside the castle, I don't think that's quite far away enough to be the coordinates.
One of these days, and when it happens, it needs to be clipped and spread all over the entire internet.
Oh, I do have to say that if the search spot is ever on the one tile after the bridge and my phone has not been thoroughly blown up, I don't know what I've done wrong.
I agree.
So now it's a very easy walk. Now that you're not counting the coordinates, yet have a decent idea of which way to head, it's pretty easy. You just, take a lot of steps out there, and then eventually, maybe use the Gwaelin's love to see where you are in relation to the castle, and, just figure it out from there.
I imagine Basp is going to check in with Gwaelin's love soon, just to kind of get an idea of where they are and which direction they need to head next.
So now we're back over to the Swamp Cave area, and looks like we are going to see exactly what we're doing. We're looking for 13 north and 62, except in opposite, because it's to the castle. And yeah, looks like we're not too very far away.
Yep, just needs to head east a little bit. No, I think he needed to head north. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Just a little shimmy.
No, he needs to go up one tile.
Yeah, but we're very close. Just gotta, put your fingers through the grass blades and, really look for it. I wonder how big the token actually is. But there we go. Basp picks up Erdrick's token and now has all the items necessary to get the rainbow drop. However, it's not quite go mode yet. We are not quite strong enough to fight the Dragon Lord. Strength is not where you want it to be, and MP is definitely not where you want it to be. So there's usually, a ratio between the number, or rather the strength of the attack power that you have versus the MP that you have, and you're nowhere close at the moment, unfortunately.
That jerk being very close to the Erdrick's token is very convenient. So we now are in go mode on Basp's side. He has access to Charlotte Castle, which is really not too far from Tantagel. So he's actually going to head straight there. Now, as far as spike tiles go, in Hawksness, we had an Armored Knight, and in the Swamp Cave, we had a Blue Dragon. So it will be interesting to see if Basp elects to take advantage of either of those to do a little bit of quick grinding before they really start to approach a Charlock in earnest. So let's see which direction he chooses to go. If he's heading straight north, then he is heading right for Charlock, so he might just do his grind right in there. We will see.
Yeah, we've got some options. We had the Blue Dragon in the Swamp Cave, the Armored Knight in Hawksness, though we do remember they had the Dragon Lord breath as well. And, Charlock can be many different things. It's going to be a set of 5 different enemies, and that's going to change around depending on which floor you're on. And sometimes that can be a good option as well, especially if a nearby town. I don't entirely remember how close towns were to anything else, but it looks like we are approaching the Big C. Here we are with the Rainbow Drop.
Yeah, to answer that question, Sparko, if he would have gone just maybe about like a screen and a half north of Charlock, both Caitlin and Rimmeldar are right there.
All right, so we've got option, and it looks like we were just using the Rainbow Drop for fun, which, I can get behind. Ah, that's right, we have the little Townsville around here.
Well, this is Hawksness, so that's where the Armored Knight is. So, interesting choice to go and grind here, especially like you pointed out before. They do have Dragon Lord breath, so that's real. If he's planning on hitting it with 2 hurt mores and then is going to need to heal more to counteract that, his MP is going to go very, very quickly. Perhaps that Blue Dragon grind would have been more efficient, but I would imagine that this one is going to be quicker in shorter spurts.
Yeah, sometimes even the best grind enemy can sort of be taken down by, where your closest place to heal is. If you have to walk a long way, then it might not be as productive as you want it to be. So right now, Basp has almost a 3,000 experience lead on TheAlanHeffley, and now that we are just focused on grinding, I believe that lead is going to, get even larger, and at this point, I want to say it's Basp's race to lose. He's had a commanding lead the entire time, and at this point, TheAlanHeffley does have a lot of equipment and plot items to catch up on to want to be able to get back into this race.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, Basp has had command of this, has been leading wire to wire, as they say, and the situation we find ourselves in does not do anything to dissuade me from continuing to state that. As this level up here is going to give us 4 power, 1 response speed, 7 hit points, and I missed the magic points. looks like it was maybe about 3. So still gonna need to do some more grinding here, but with us being low on MP, it's probably time to just walk around to get some HP back and then continue to go.
And so this is probably going to be a very similar site for right now, walking back and forth. And for the most part, the Armored Knight is going to be very safe to take down with 2 hurt mores, of course, unless one misses. So as long as you can survive a Dragon Lord breath, it's pretty safe for you most likely. But unfortunately, just as I'm talking about that, we have our hit points reduced and we have fallen.
You know, but here's the thing. Ultimately, the walk from Tantagel to Hawksness isn't that far. So it might actually be more efficient to just die as opposed to having to walk out of Hawksness, walk around that bridge, go to Rimmildar, stay at the inn, and walk back in. This might actually take less time. So I actually like this strategy.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not a bad decision. I mean, sometimes it can be, just a lot faster to just take the last death out of away from the enemy, because that way you sometimes even have a chance to kill the enemy instead and get 1 extra little bonus kill before you're walking.
Okay, no, not going back to Hawksness. We are going into Charlock. First thing we see, an Armored Knight. And just like we did at the grind spot, we're going to hit it with 2 hurt mores.
Yeah, we're definitely not ready to dive down there. But sometimes even scouting out Charlock, just seeing what's in there and being ready to, know what to expect when you go in there can be a good strategy, just to kind of know what you're dealing with.
I agree. A question here in chat from Pelindren. Is this the last race for tonight? To my knowledge, yes, it is. You know what? Actually, that's a great question. I'll be right back in a second. Excuse me. And I'll have some information about the races that are scheduled tomorrow.
So meanwhile, while we're waiting for Vani to do all of the homework, we found a golem on Charlock that unfortunately, still packs a very hard punch and is going to be set home. Perhaps Basp is just sort of trying to look around at the options and decide what is correct for the decision to make for where to grind right now.
Alrighty, so as far as that schedule for tomorrow goes, right now we have at 6 o'clock Eastern a race between Captain Green 7 and High Spirits. At 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, excuse me, we're going to have a race between Maya, I hope I said that right, Maya and Much Paranoia. And then at 11 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to have a race between Ali Jabrap and Vanny Van.
I like that Vanny Van. He's a cool guy. Though I am going to make a little note that the 9 o'clock race actually was requested to have no restream, so we will just be restreaming 2 races tomorrow night. The choice of where the channels to be broadcast is yet to be determined. However, all that information is available on the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Discord, and it should be fun. It should be a good night. We've got a good number of races for the rest of the week until, the following week. There's a lot of action, I think just about every single night as far as tournaments go in this current week format with, 32 races. That's a lot to pack in.
And I can confirm that, Sparko, with 2 races yet to be scheduled for week 2. Like I said, I just read off those 3 races for tomorrow. We've got 5 races on Friday, as well as another 5 races on Saturday. So still plenty more action. And with that, we won't even be halfway through the Swiss rounds. So if you are enjoying this Dragon Warrior Randomizer tournament racing action, there will be no shortage of it coming up in your near future. So be sure to stay tuned here and we give you all the information on that. Meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley has finally discovered Cantlin and is going to go in and get the coordinates so that he can get that Erdrick's token once the opportunity presents itself.
And also with TheAlanHeffley knowing where that the swamp cave is, that can easily be a decision made to attempt to see what's in there and get the GPS right away. And I think actually, even if that is the choice made, that'll sort of take Alan in the way of some new discoveries, because I'm pretty sure, again, that the jerk was way out east.
The jerk was indeed well east, right next to Breckenary.
So now we've got Basp who's decided again on the Armored Knight over here. I mean, again, not an easy fight, but as long as you manage your HP, then it shouldn't be too much to worry about. However, missed attacks can still be a little bit of a problem. So over on the TheAlanHeffley side, we have some counting attempts going. Let's see if Alan sticks to it or makes the same decision with the GPS that Basp did.
Just having already seen Basp get to that spot and just how convoluted it was to get there, this is going to be quite the challenge for TheAlanHeffley. I hope that he is prepared for quite the twisty, windy walk that he's going to have to do. Now, we know that he knows where the swamp cave is, so I would imagine that in short order, he is going to say, yeah, I'm going to need that princess, and we'll go obtain her.
And we actually do get to the point where once you've counted out so much of that, you actually do just kind of get over to north of where the swamp cave is, so it's kind of convenient in its own right. And so yeah, we have a question in chat about the next levels. 7,500 will be level 15, followed by 9,750, and then after that I believe it's 12,000, 14,250, 16,500, and we're really hoping we don't need to get to that point.
Yeah, I like Basp squeaking out an excellent move on the Armored Knight with 9 HP and 1 MP left to just get that one more kill before the next Armored Knight sends him back from whence he came. So yeah, he will be leveling up once he gets to 7,500 experience, which is 2 Armored Knights from now, and we will pay careful attention to what it is that he gains stat-wise from that level up.
Yeah, and so we are definitely looking for more strength and MP, but as a bonus, we are only about 5 HP away from what most people consider to be the safe health to use the Death Necklace at. So in the original game, the Death Necklace is an item that curses you. When you are cursed, you cannot go into the Cantagial Castle. You have to go to Breckenry to get the curse removed to go into there, which still applies to this game, but you also, when you put on the Death Necklace, have the ability to gain 10 attack power at the cost of 25% of your HP. So in a seed like this, when your HP is quite high, you definitely want to think about having the Death Necklace as an option, just because it can save you in some situations. And we have yet to see how the stats roll out, but we can see how this turns out. And on the TheAlanHeffley side, we're hitting level 12. And I believe, yes, this is the level where we learn Heal more, so a little bit more mobility. And that is always a nice thing to have. Now you know, because also Heal more is sort of required for fighting the Dragon Lord as well. You don't think about it as much until you don't have it and you're strong enough. Anyway, we've got
the level up, yes.
Call it?
Woo, 14 strength, 12 agility, 8 HP. That was quite the boon there for several reasons. First of all, it gets them to 131 attack power as it is. That means our attack range on the Dragon Lord is going to be, here we go, TheAlanHeffley over here, just stepping onto the Sparkover bridge, just you know, taking a look, but not searching it. So,
still appreciate
respects
it.
there. Anyway, as it stands right now, the attack power for Basp is going to allow him to do anywhere between 7 to 15 damage to the Dragon Lord. Now, if he uses the Death Necklace, that's going to bring that range from up to 10 to 20. Now, here's the problem. 71 MP. That's going to be a maximum of 8 heal mores, provided that he can keep all of them getting to the Dragon Lord. Even with that average, that is not enough heal mores to get it done. He would basically need top end swings for everything in order to get through. So we are going to continue to see Basp grind in order to get that MP up. That's really the only thing that's holding him back right now.
However, we are headed into Sherlock, so let's see what goes on here. I think the thing that I don't like about this the most is the defense power is pretty low. So you want to have 86 defense power in order for the max damage of the Dragon Lord's physical attack to be 48 or lower. That's sort of what's considered the safe number. But unfortunately, because we never did get a silver shield, the defense power is only at 83 right now. So I always feel like that's extra risky when you're using the Death Necklace and getting your HP down below 100.
Meanwhile, on TheAlanHeffley's side, he has finally discovered the mountain cave. And this is going to be great because he will find not only the Stones of Sunlight, but also the Silver Harp in here as well. So that's going to give him plenty of progression items. Question here in chat from the Cursed One. New to DW Rando, what would be the best way to learn about it? Well, we do have a Discord that is available not only for just the randomizer, but also ultimately for this tournament as well. So that is something that hopefully we can link that in chat. And if you would like to join it, that is really going to be the best resource for you getting into it, whatever it is that you would like to know. Also, Mr. Holmes, thank you so much for that raid.
So we've got TheAlanHeffley making a way down the mountain cave. A little bit easier right now compared to Basp's descent, just because we actually do have heal more and her more to deal with. And as noted, that we do have some progression items in here, and we do know that the grave is going to be wanted for the sword, but we are getting there, I believe. Actually, I suppose Alan does not know for sure what the coordinates are, but does have the information they exist, so knows something is there, and has the flute, so 50-50 shot at that being the armor, as far as Alan does know.
From what I can remember, Alan has not found Hawksness.
But Alan has found the sword Magidrak.
Yes, the sword Magidrak. We also see him finding a whole bunch of gold. I wonder... Wow, he has a copper sword, a small shield, and that's it. So he can really use all the equipment he can get. So that is where I would imagine he is going to immediately after this.
Yeah, so we did see a gold grind, an hour and 10 minutes ago. Now we're seeing one at a more reasonable time in the area. Now that we actually have maybe a heal spell, a hurt more spell, ways to survive, it's going to be a little bit easier to hold on to this money. And the silver shield could make quite a big difference as far as playing goes. And Gwaelyn's sending her best to Basp. Probably meant to use the torch instead. So we are walking through Sherlock, but I have noticed that already we have used one heal more. That sort of makes the chances of winning, I think, pretty not very good at this point. You're already quite below average of where you want to be because you already started below average. I don't think this is going to be a very good chance for the Dragon Lord, unfortunately.
Question in chat here from Mr. Spokes. Where are sword and shield? Well, the Erdrick sword was, where was Erdrick's sword? It was in the grave. As far as the shield, okay, so if you're asking where the Erdrick's armor was, it was at the search spot in Hawksness. Also, let's talk about what Basp is doing here. Basp seems to be making a fool's errand dive into Charlock Castle, trying to conserve those MP. You see him not using Hurtmore on the armored knights, running away. We saw him, I believe, use some herbs earlier. Do we think that maybe he's doing this because he's afraid that he might possibly be behind?
Could always be possible. You never know what to expect in a race. I mean, it's, you know, kind of a stressful situation when you don't exactly know what to expect from the other person. However, I want to kind of think that maybe Basp might start to think that it's time to get another level, just due to all of the very frightening enemies inside Charlock. But we shall see.
Meanwhile, something that is really frustrating to see on Basp's side, the green dragons in Charlock, normally those are very tame enemies once you get to that point that you can either run from or mow through if you're trying to even get some more experience. Unfortunately, these green dragons have both sleep and dragon. It was either Dragonlord Breath or Hurtmore. I believe it was Dragonlord Breath. So that is what we'd like to refer to as the Wombo combo, and is going to make them not fun. Meanwhile, we see Basp going back into Hawksness here to assumedly do a little more grinding. Meanwhile, Rimmeldar has been located over here on TheAlanHeffley's side, and let's see if they're going to buy some things that are going to make life a lot easier, like that flame sword. Thank goodness. That is a lot better than the copper sword. So this will give him quite the boost when it comes to his attacking.
And so right now he does have enough money for a silver shield, which is something that Basp didn't pick up. I don't know if we've seen one anywhere, but with so many other item shops available and a town right next to this one here, which I believe was Catlin, definitely have some options to look into here. And could also go the magic armor and large shield route if you decided to. However, a lot of people would choose to go for the silver instead, just because of the, you know, Erdrick's armor is pretty much a required item, and you are going to be picking it up. So the magic armor is a little less relevant overall.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing about TheAlanHeffley buying that sword in Rimmeldar is the fact that if he just takes a few steps north, he's going to discover the grave, and we know that the first chest on the first floor on the right-hand side is the one that contains Erdrick's sword. So that is going to nullify that flame sword, obviously. But we do see him buying that silver shield. That is all going to be another nice little boost to his defense. Really nothing else for him to buy there except for, I guess, some clothes. But he's just going to go ahead and say no to that and continue, or go to the inn and then continue exploring.
Can you believe it? Adventuring for like an hour and 16 minutes without even wearing some clothing. Must be a little warm out there. I don't know how they survive.
It's got to be such a liberating feeling, though, right?
I believe so. And I mean, to be fair, they do have the dragon scale for modesty. So, you know, there's that.
Yes, covering up the naughty bits.
I was very shocked to discover that the dragon scale was actually like a little bit of a necklace. I sort of pictured it was a little bit bigger, but on the other hand, I've never actually seen how large a dragon scale was. So we've got Basp here, just about 1,000 experience away from the next level. It'll just take a few more armored knights, but we are out of MP at this point, so we're going to have to take a death soon, possibly right now as I'm saying that, and, you know, recharge. Meanwhile, we have the TheAlanHeffley also headed to the exact same spot, and I believe we're going to be successful in this, and Alan is going to be able to pick up the armor as long as he doesn't let his health get too low for the Dragonlord Breath, but with 2 Hurtmores, and does the second one hit? It does. We are going to be getting our armor in a second.
All right, so don't look now, but TheAlanHeffley is very well outfitted. So really, just the Erdrick sword away. I mean, I'm sorry, just the next sword upgrade away from having the best gear. Now, still considerably behind in experience. We're talking over 5,000. So that is a notable difference. Also notable the fact that he does not have the rainbow drop. In fact, he still needs to turn in the harp and get the token in order to do that. So, but at least he's got all the gear he needs to really just push forward and just go out and explore and get the things that he needs.
Yeah, at this point, it's just a matter of pushing the borders, see where haven't you gone yet, decide exactly the way to go, and we do know some things are pretty close, so now it's just a matter of making the decisions in which way to go, and hopefully make the right ones. And so let's see, I think we are around 4 armored knights away from the next level, somewhere in that area for Basp. And we've hit level 13 on the TheAlanHeffley side. There was a blue dragon in the Swamp Cave to answer a question in chat. Swamp Cave is a lot further away, though. It's a bit of a twisty and turny walk to get over there, as opposed to Hawksness here, which is right beside the starting castle, just about. So with this armored knight, we are just 4 experience points shy of the next level. So 1 more will do it. This slime will not do it, but it runs away. And here we have the armored knight. We'll be seeing the next level very soon.
Alrighty, let's see what we get here as far as stats go. We've got 6 power, 2 agility, 9 HP, 4 MP. All right, so that brings us to 142 HP. This is definitely the kind of thing where we're going to see the death necklace. 137 attack power. That's a pretty good number. That could be absolutely be bolstered by the necklace as well. If it is, that brings it to 147. That's going to give us a range of what, 11 to 23 for the attack, so an average of about 17. Still, though, MP leaving plenty to be desired. It's only going to give him 9 heal mores. So with the death necklace, excuse me, gonna have some good average there, but really thin on the MP. It got better with that level up, certainly, but that's another concern that's being brought up in chat. That defense power at only 84, that is still something to look at. However, it is worth noting that Basp only has a large shield. If they wanted to solve that issue very quickly, it's just a matter of doing the gold grind, getting that shield, which we know is in Cantlin, not too far from Charlock, and then they'd be good to go. So I'm wondering if that's something that Basp is either just foregoing or perhaps has overlooked.
So I feel like this is one of those situations where you could go with or without the death necklace. Because as we're mentioning in chat, with the HP, you're guaranteed a few double attacks, which can compensate for not having quite as many heal mores. I actually really like these types of situations myself, just because you can go down to the bottom, and if you happen to have to use a heal more, you have the option of putting on the death necklace after. So it's kind of like you have 2 different ways of being able to do it, but having the option at the bottom of the castle is quite nice. On the other side of the screen, though, here we've got the TheAlanHeffley entering the grave, and we are about to see a sword right here. So Alan finds Erdrick's sword, does choose to look into the next of the things, but I believe that is all of the key items for him once he is able to, do a few exchanges and go on a little search. So we'll see if he chooses to go into the grave or is just checking these out to see what there is.
Yeah, and again, we noted once Basp found the Erdrick sword, with all the other information that he had up to that point, he decided to say, nope, I'm not wasting any more time in here, and got out. So the only thing that we can think of that TheAlanHeffley could find here that would really be of any consequence is the Fighter's Ring. We haven't seen either runner here obtain one yet.
Though at the same time, it would sort of surprise me, I think, if we would see the bottom of the grave, just because the rest of the things have been found. But indeed, we actually are opening the door and heading downstairs to see what there is. So perhaps the Fighter's Ring is on his mind. So meanwhile, are we going to get a little bit further in Sherlock Castle? It's kind of a little bit of a nasty situation we're in here with the armored knights, and they do have Dragonlord breath, and they're not very easy to run from. You would want to think that with 88 agility, that, you know, that would help a little bit, but unfortunately, running for them is still very difficult, and taking the damage of the Dragonlord breath so often is not going to help you in any way whatsoever. So these top floors are going to be very rough to our runners.
Meanwhile, we see a heal more get used on Basp's side, as well as one of the 2 herbs that he had. So I would say he is not in good shape here for what he needs to do. And if he keeps getting these blocked in fronts from Arbor Knights, it is going to, oh my god, another one. And that almost killed. Here comes another heal more. So I mean, he's got to know at this point that he's basically just trying to do this for fun, ? I mean, if this isn't going to cut it, yeah, I was going to say, now I start fighting the enemies on the way down, saying, hey, if I'm at least going to get shoved around, I might as well shove back and get a little experience along the way, which I'm probably ultimately going to need for yet another level. But we'll see how Basp plays this out.
Yeah, and that's always a little bit of a backup option that you can have in the Sherlock Castle if your dive starts to go wrong and you decide you want more. Usually the enemies are all right to grind on at this point. Even if that does mean using MP and just sort of fully committing to not going to the bottom, it still can be something that is a decent consideration if you've already used more MP than you want to. So by any chance, were you able to catch what was in the next chest in the grave? I unfortunately had a bit of lag on my side. I didn't quite notice.
I didn't see it either, but we're about to see what the very last chest is in here. So hopefully it's the Fighter's Ring, and that gives TheAlanHeffley a little boost to that attack power, which is always welcome.
I believe our tracker in chat says it was an herb, so thank you very much. Very close to the bottom chest now. And it is some gold.
Just some money. Now, here we go. We are on the final floor of... Oh! What? I figured Basp, knowing that this is going to be an unsuccessful... attempt to get to the Dragonlord. I'm surprised he's not looking in the treasury just to see if maybe, just maybe, that Fighter's Ring is in there. But no, going straight to at least the grind tile.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to not see checking the treasury just because. But as noted in chat, you know, the Fighter's Ring wouldn't really make a difference at this point. I usually just like to do it for giggles anyway, if I happen to know I'm not making it. But at the same time, if you happen to find a good grind enemy on the spike tile here, then that can also be a good use of your time. We have a stone man here, which I think most of the time I'm not really a fan of finding.
Yeah, especially if he's going to hit you 3 times in the battle. That is going to be a significant chunk of HP gone. He's going to the Dragon Lord. Wow. He's going to try to walk around to regenerate some HP. He's only going to have 7 heal mores to use here. Wow. Well, buckle in, folks. It looks like we are in for an interesting ride here with this Dragon Lord fight.
And really testing the luck here, trying to walk it off. We do have Axe Knights, which aren't too bad to run from, but I wonder if you are planning on using the Death Necklace, you don't need to be healed up all the way. And looks like we are considering our stats right now.
Oh boy, he still needs about 10 more HP to get to max. So let's see if he chooses to walk that. He is really thinking, and the gears are grinding right now. How do I do this? Do I use the Death Necklace? Do I not? Meanwhile, the clock is ticking. Looks like the answer is no. We are just going to go for it as we are. Please hold B. Thank you. Okay. All right, here we go. First phase is going to give us a stop spell. We like that. Another stop spell. Okay, so if this is going to work, that's a fantastic start. We're already into the second phase here. Alrighty, let's see. Oh, but a back attack here. That's not what we like to see, especially if they're breathing fire. Okay, so 10 damage. Ooh, thinking about it. Nope, gonna go with the heal more. He thought about that. But let's see if we can get a double here. All right, we're up to 19. That's not going to be a double. Oh, boy. This is not a good start. Okay, 30. Okay, that's a double. 47. Got to heal here. Not likely to get a double here. No. 59. He's only got, well, now 3 heal mores left. He is going to fall well short here. Let's see here. Okay, with 17, that brings it to what, 76? Okay, 87. Wow, I mean, he's still got about half the Dragon Lord's HP to go. And only now 1 more heal more to cast. I mean, he's got to know this is a lost cause at this point. But you never know. Just keep going here. All right, so he's at 101 now. Tries to hurt more and had no effect. All right, so that was his plan the whole way, I think. Was just to get it down to about that 101 range. Try the YOLO hurt more. See if maybe he could just squeak it out. But however, you have a 1 in 16 chance of that hurt more connecting, and as the odds would seem to play out, it was unsuccessful. So Basp now back to the drawing board. Let's see what he chooses to do from here.
Meanwhile, on the TheAlanHeffley side, Alan has gotten to level 14. And I believe right now, we're just looking for the last few pieces of the puzzle here. Have to find the token, have to exchange the heart for the Staff of Rain, and of course then exchange all of those things for the rainbow drop at the Jerk Cave. And looks like Basp is going to be heading back to grinding. I definitely do not think that's a bad decision over here. The fight definitely was not impossible, but getting down there with all of your heal mores is really the tricky part of that one.
The Cursed One has a good question here in chat. He's asking what's the deal with the green and orange stats. Sparkover, I'm sure you're very familiar with this tracker. Do you want to explain what the significance of those colors are?
All right, so the idea with the colors for the tracker, in the very, very beginning of the race, you'll notice that some of the stats are red. That means very, very bad. If the stats are white, that really doesn't mean much of anything. You've got some stats that are just existing and there. When they go into the orange, that sort of means it's time to start considering that it is time to perhaps fight the Dragon Lord, depending on what your other stats are. And when the numbers are green, that means you are good. There are definitely going to be some considerations where you will want to fight the Dragon Lord with some stats in the orange, perhaps, because there is kind of a ratio in between attack power to MP to HP. However, for the most part, green means go, orange means maybe go. Just think about it. So it's a nice little thing to consider. There, as I said, there's always some variance in between, what the numbers in between each other actually are, because that can vary. But for the most part, it's a good general guideline.
Meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley has recovered the princess and is in the process of turning her in right now. So he will have his GPS device and is going to be able to go to that search spot, which he has to know at this point is going to be that Erdrick's token. So hopefully that is next on his agenda as far as what to do for making some progress here.
So I think we've got Basp at about 1,400 away from the next level. Meanwhile, Alan, I believe we are probably in the beginning stages of level 14, but I did not quite catch the experience point. Alan's next level, I believe, is going to be at 7,500. There's a question in chat from the Cursed One. Where's the death counter? You'll find it in the corner of their name boxes. So we've got 20 for TheAlanHeffley and 15 for Basp. And looks like I think we're just about 2 armored knights away from the next level. Sorry, not 2. We have to get to 12,000. My numbers. I was just saying even. How far away we were from the level, so my apologies.
All right, so we're looking at about 5 more armored knights here on Basp's side before he gets to that level 17, and hopefully that gives him some stats that he will definitely need in order to make his second attempt at fighting the Dragon Lord more successful. Meanwhile, we see TheAlanHeffley checking in over here with his compass and finding out that he is the right part as far as going east, but still needs to go well south in order to get to where he needs to be. Just one more step for Alan. There you go. Make the search. And there's the token. Alrighty. So, still needs to find the shrine to turn in the silver harp, though. So, he is not quite in go mode yet. I don't think he has found that shrine yet. So that is definitely something he will need to seek out.
Though we do know, Alan was the first one to find to find Garanham, which I'm pretty sure wasn't that where the shrine was. Though I do seem to remember him going to get money from the chests and then going back out to try and buy something. So I'm guessing maybe he just forgot to check in the back.
You know, that's a great point, Sparko. I do remember him leaving. I don't remember him checking what's in the back, though. So if that is indeed the case, and he is wondering where that shrine is, that is a critical mistake that he made. That is going to cost him quite a bit of time here. Time he just cannot afford to lose. Alrighty, so we see now Basp, who is less than 200 HP, experience points shy of getting to the next level, is going to go, maybe he just goes ahead and gets this in Charlock just because he's so close. It looks like that's what he's electing to do. So he'll fight enemies, hopefully by melee, right here. The Green Dragon. But we know the Green Dragon is going to be quite difficult to deal with here. Not only because of the breath, but the sleep spell. Still needs one more enemy at this point.
And hurt more on a green dragon will either take you there or most of the way there. You'll just need a little bit of a stabbing motion after that.
It looks like TheAlanHeffley has found Garanham here in short order. Boy, go in that door and go behind. You are absolutely going to need to do that.
So meanwhile, on Basp's side, we got our level. We did get another heal more out of it, but not very much else, unfortunately. So now we are up to 10 heal mores, and again, definitely fine stats for, fighting the Dragon Lord if you can get down there with all of your magic. And again, just with that defense power, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but still possible, but not ideal.
Yeah, and again, well, we see Basp here in Cantland. Now, he doesn't have the gold, but this is where he would get that silver shield if he wants to get that boost to his defense power, which I definitely think is worth as well, especially if he's going to go in short on hurt mores, meaning you're going to need those doubles. And with the defense being at 85, that's really not going to give you a very good chance to get those doubles.
All right, so I definitely want to assume that Basp is going to make another attempt at going downstairs. Again, it's still going to be a little bit difficult knowing what enemy set is in there, but again, if you can get down there to the bottom, it is possible. And speaking from somebody who had a very rough Charlock, followed by a very easy Charlock on the exact same stats, anything can really happen at this point.
Alrighty, so into Charlock we go again. Let's see if he has a smooth walk through this castle.
I mean, we do know there are armored knights with Dragon Lord Breath and green dragons with the sleep and either Hurt More or Dragon Lord Breath combo. It's not going to be a smooth walk, but hopefully it'll be a survivable walk.
Interesting you see that he is now walking through this completely in the dark, because at 80 magic points, even if he casts Radiant, which only costs 2 MP, that is going to rob him of a very precious heal more. And we see this armored knight not letting him go, so that is going to make things a little tighter here. Uses an herb, so still preserving that MP. Yeah, he knows he's going to need every last heal more he can get if he's going to want this to be successful.
I always find it interesting. I mean, I can personally do Charlock in the dark myself when I have to. It's still kind of difficult for me to follow along for people walking, I think, just because, I'm not quite the one focusing on the navigation myself. So we've got the TheAlanHeffley, who really needs to find the Jerk Cave. We, of course, know that it's on the very far east. Unfortunately, it looks like we are in quite the wrong corner of that, and it is a little bit of a walk to get out there. But you have to hope that there aren't too many more places, that he hasn't been already.
Do want to point out again that we saw TheAlanHeffley walk by a swampo bridge.
So good.
Ooh, that is a good point. He is now down a heal more. And now he is down 4 herbs. This is... Boy, his room for error is razor thin at this point.
Yeah, again, I didn't entirely dislike the last level when you only had the 72 MP, but you really don't want to be looking at anything lower than that.
All right, so he's made it to the final floor. It's just a matter of getting through it.
And so we're back to the Stoneman mini-boss. With all the HP that you have, I feel like it's a pretty easy fight as long as there are no surprises from the Stoneman. And we didn't see anything, last time. So should be easy enough to get through this, as long as we've still got a few herbs to heal with after.
Okay, now we see him walking around to heal. That tells me he is not going to use the death necklace. Taking a peek at the stats, seeing if he can do this. Oh, he is going to use the death necklace. So I wonder why he took all that time to heal then. I mean, wasn't that much time, but still was not necessary. So here we go, round 2. This time with an extra level and a death necklace on. Got a max of 110 HP. That's still a pretty good number. Getting an attack from the first Dragon Lord and 2-shotting him. That's pretty nice. All right, let's see how we do the second time around. Well, we don't start out with a back attack. That's good. We also start out with 16 damage. That's pretty good too. We also start out with a double. That's even better. 21 gets us to 37. $20 gets us to 57. All right, this is looking much better. This is just going to be a race to the end. All right, so that is 76. $88. $100 on the dot. $119. That was a good roll. That's probably going to bode very well for him finishing this fight. Okay, 131. He should be okay.
Yeah, I want to say that this is a very safe and fun fight, barring, a miss menu. Should be very beautiful for a fight.
143. Should only be a couple more attacks, and he still has 1 heal more left. I think he's pretty much got this one in the bag, and there it is. Dragon Lord has been defeated. It's just a matter of getting back to the castle, talking to the king and the princess, and Basp33 is going to win this week 2 matchup. All righty, and I can report that Basp has not done with an SRL official time of 1 hour 47 minutes and 59 seconds. So GG to Basp on his victory here. We are going to try to get him into interview, and it looks like he just wants a minute, which is understandable when you've been sitting there for almost 2 hours playing. So as soon as he is available, we'll have him in, and we will ask him some questions. Alrighty. Meanwhile, on TheAlanHeffley's side, he has all 3 items he needs to deliver to the jerk to get his rainbow drop, and then he will be good to go. I like TheAlanHeffley's situation a little better when it comes to where he was at, just because he has the silver shield. So his defense, his defense now even 2 levels behind Basp is higher. So that's definitely gonna bode well for him. We know. Oh, there was another Swampo bridge there. Oh, very nice. But that's not what we want. We want that cave there because that's the jerk and that's our rainbow drop.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be definitely easier to have the victory level earlier, possibly 2. I'm not sure how much I like these stats right now. Maybe, but 16 I would definitely think would be nice and friendly with the defense power of the silver shield added. We'll see what Alan decides to do.
Alrighty, and we now have our victorious runner here, Basp, joining us. So Basp, first of all, GG on your victory. How do you feel?
Thank you. A little tired. That was a bit of a rough last half an hour.
It was, and I think that's where we want to start. We want to start with your first attempt at the Dragon Lord falling considerably short. At what point did you tell yourself, I have to go for this despite the odds?
I don't know. I think because my grinding had gone so badly, I just felt like I must be behind. I guess I wasn't, obviously, but and I'm guessing all the things that were trolly for me were probably pretty trolly for my opponent as well. But I just felt very behind, and I made a pretty big mistake. I forgot to get herbs before that attempt, which was really stupid, and that really I think held me back as well. So after I obviously tried to just go back and get our level so I could run a little bit better.
More noteworthy as far as what we were talking about when it comes to forgetting things was we noticed that you didn't have the silver shield either. So was that something that you forewent on purpose, or did you, because you were kind of a little low on defense power, did you want to just go in without it or what?
Yeah, I figured the agility was pretty good, especially early on. So when I got the large shield, I thought it'd be okay. And I think most of the things that were doing me in were Dragon Lord Breath. So I didn't really feel like that actually held me back as much. I don't know, maybe I go back and do the math or something, but I felt like the Dragon Lord Breath was really the thing that was killing me.
Yeah, that is true. And just want to give an update here. We do have an official forfeit from TheAlanHeffley, so he has waved the white flag on this race. So we'll see.
Maybe we must have had a tough time with the map. The jerk cave was in kind of an odd spot.
Yeah, it was definitely in an awkward spot. There is no question about it. But one thing that we wanted to mention to you was that you jumped out to a very noticeable lead in the very beginning, because a lot of those levels, like 2, 3, 4, 5, they gave you a lot of great stuff. And I think you were at level 6 before Alan Heffley even got to level 2. So you got a big boost, and you made the most of it. I mean, you led this race wire to wire. There's no question. There's no
Yeah.
question about it.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, playing it back, I felt like I got off to a really great start, and I felt like the first whatever hour or so I had played really well. I should have probably used that as my cue to know I should have know that I had time to grind a couple more levels. So hindsight 2020, it's probably what I should have.
All righty. So just a couple other things that we wanted to ask you about. When you I'm sorry, not ask you about, but just kind of comment about, was a lot of people remarked on when you went into the grave, you found Erdrick's sword, and you just warped right out before getting the other two. I'm sorry, the other 4 treasure chests. When you discovered coal, with your knowledge of what was going on with the um, of the search spots, you didn't even bother walking even further into the town. We were pretty impressed with your knowledge of what was going on there. The only thing that you didn't find was the fighter's ring. Actually, neither of you did. So, but yeah, as far as how you played that, when it came to your efficiency, when it came to a lot of things, that was really good. So, wanted to commend you there. One thing I did want to ask you
Thanks.
about, you kind of seemed to have a conundrum when it came to, after you got the rainbow drop, grinding in Charlock, grinding in Hawksness, grinding in Charlock, grinding in Hawksness. How much was that kind of making you fret, deciding, oh shoot, which one do I want to do?
Yeah, I think it was pretty rough. I think once I realized that first floor Sherlock was still armored knights, so obviously no better than Hawksness, and the green dragons, which were just a total no go, with the sleep and the dragon breath. I think, and I knew. I think in hindsight, after a few laps to and from Hawksness, I started thinking more about whether I should have been doing the blue dragons. But Songate is just a decent walk, and I guess there was a town pretty close by, so that actually was probably the best grind spot in hindsight as well. That was probably another improvement I'd go back and make if I were sort of quote unquote rerun this one. I think the other thing, I think because I had the fairy flute, obviously I knew that the token wouldn't have been in that search spot in coal. I think not searching the other 2 chests in the grave was kind of dumb in hindsight. I could have taken another 10 seconds and possibly gotten the fighter's ring. So that was that. I kind of as soon as I hit outside, I was kind of like, that was a little bit dumb, but I definitely wouldn't have dug the rest of the grave just to have a chance at the fighter's ring. And then I probably could have checked Charlock for the fighter's ring as well. That was probably also a mistake. So tough, really hard seed. I think when these seeds are so hard and there's no great grind spots, it sort of induces these like sort of hasty mistakes sometimes too. It's hard to not feel like you're behind.
Yeah, that was something that we figured, is that the feeling of being behind seemed to kind of be seeping into your play. But of course, we can sit here and kind of giggle at that, because you were rather far ahead for pretty much this entire match. But to what something that you mentioned there about, oh shoot, should I have gone over to get the blue dragons in the swamp cave? It was quite a hike away from there. And I don't recall there being a town nearby. So I think ultimately that play to do the Armored Knight was the right one, because you're able to get the good experience in smaller spurts. So but
Yeah.
I mean, it all paid off for you anyway, because you won this one pretty handily.
Yeah, I think with the Armored Knights, there's just like a lot of times where you could low roll an attack or miss a hurt more and just have it be a disaster. So that was the only thing that was frustrating about that grind. Just pretty unpredictable, but happy to get a win. be on the.
You indeed did get that win, which improves you to 1-1. So you're still in pretty good shape to get into the next round. However, in your next match, you're going to face someone else who's 1-1, and you could be in danger of falling to that to that back against the wall 1-2. So with that in mind, do you have any kind of strategy or approach that you're going to bring to the next seed in the next race that you're going to do next week?
No, I think try to. I thought I played. I mean, the first hour especially, I played really well. So I feel like if I can keep that up, and I think I'm, the more I play these seeds, the more I'm getting a feel for some of the mapping. The mapping is definitely a different animal in the new version of the randomizer. So, just do my best and give it a good shot.
Well, I would say you certainly did rather well tonight and got the convincing victory. So, GG to you on that. Any final thoughts before we wrap things up here?
No, it was a bit of a weird seed, but happy with the result. Thanks, everybody.
All righty. Well, thank you for the great race. And that is going to pretty much do it for here. We did ask TheAlanHeffley if he wanted to join us for an interview, and he declined, which is certainly his right to do so. So we don't have